Hello everyone. So in the last video we have seen about these variables and global local scopes and all. So I hope you will have some good idea about the variables and usage now, right? So now we can see further in this tutorial. So in this today video we was we will have a look on these analog scenarios, right? Analog inputs especially, right? So I I have already told you, I hope you may remember, when it comes to Arduino, right? When it comes to Arduino, there are pins, right? Input, output pins. So I said, and a pin can be input or a pin can also be output. Okay. So we have only seen this output scenario up to now in our tutorial, right? Okay. Output scenario only we have seen. Okay. Input scenario we never seen yet, right? And also I said you one more thing. An input or output can either be a digital or analog. I know how I'm going to make this space. Okay, no problem. Digital okay, or analog. Okay, analog. Okay. So this combination, that means digital output only we have had a look, right? That is the digital write scenarios, right? The LEDs and all those businesses, right? And we have three more scenarios: digital input, and analog output, right? So today, okay, today we will see about this analog input. Okay, so because the most easiest part is digital output, then analog input, and then analog output, then we can see the digital input. That's a bit trickier one, so we will have a look on that last. Okay, so analog input, right? So you know the difference between digital and analog, right? I already told you how a digital signal will look like. Okay. So it can either be 1 or 0, right? The digital signal will look like that. Okay, 0 or 1, okay, or high or low, or 0 voltage or 5 voltage, can be anything, right? Okay, 1 or 0. But an analog voltage or analog input or output will look like this. Okay, so let's say this is 1, where we have seen in the digital this is 1 level, 1, this is 0. Okay, so you can ignore this part for the moment. Okay, so this is 0. So now you can see at any point, okay, this point it is 1, this point it is 0. Okay, this is 0 point, this is 1 point, but in the intermediate also we have points, no? So this point may be sometimes 0.75, no? You can take something else 0.5. Okay, yes or no? So this can be maybe 0.2. Such things can happen, right, in the analog values. So for example, if you want to think, if you are switching on and switching off an LED, that is digital. Okay, if you are increasing a brightness of an LED or decreasing it, slowly increase the brightness, it is possible. Slowly decreasing the brightness or brightness of a bulb, or if you are increasing the sound of a television, okay, sound, you know, volume of a television, if you are increasing the volume of a radio, those are analogs, because the volume of a radio not only having two states, ones and zeros, you can have intermediate values, right? A little higher volume, little higher volume, little higher volume, and the maximum volume. Okay, and the lowest value. Yes or not? Yes. Television also same. So in the Arduino also, when we are giving a digital output, okay, digital output, we can give only 1 and 0, only high and low, right? But when we are giving analog output, we can give few values, not 1 and zeros, right? We can give some random values, that is between ones and zeros, so that is between the maximum and minimum. And also, when it comes to digital input, you can take either high or low as an input, or you can take either 1 or 0 as an input. But when it comes to analog input, you can take the values 0, 0.5, 0.75, for example, you can think like that. Not the maximum and minimum, you can take the intermediate values as well. Okay, right, fine. Okay, so now we will think of this Arduino's analog scenario. Okay, so because I said we are going to have a look on this analog input scenario today, right? That's fine. So yeah, that's fine. So you may remember, okay, so we have pins for Arduino, right? Without a question, we will be using Arduino's pins, right? So if you take an Arduino board, okay, Arduino programming board, okay, let me try to take my board from my files. Okay, so I will open a board, let's say. Okay, I'll open this. Okay, do you want to save the changes? Okay, let's see, don't save. Okay. Okay, what I have done, oh my god, they're in the font. Okay, fine, I will reopen this. Yeah, I don't save this. I'll make it minimize and I'll maximize. Okay, so I said a pin can either be an analog input pin or output pin, right? So any pin can be used input or output, right? So please remember, for the moment, just remember, if you are going to take an analog input, okay, you only have the pins. There's no choice. You have to use the pins that are annotated with the A, that are prefixed with A. So you can see in the mega from A0 to A15, okay, we have our analog pins. Understand, guys? So if you are going to give an analog input, you have to use these particular pins. If you are giving a digital output, what you can use? Normally we use these normal pins, right? 1 2 3 4 blah 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 blah, not A annotated pins, A prefixed pins. But if you are taking an analog input, you have to go for the A prefixed pins. So in the mega you have minimum of 15 pins. Sorry, exactly 15 pins. 15, not 15, 16 pins actually, because A0 is also there. So now you may understand what is the meaning of A. That means analog. Okay, so this is capable of taking analog input, obviously, right? So simply what you do is you take an analog sensor, let's say, okay, or whatever that can give an analog value, and you connect it to this any of these pins, and you write a particular coding to read the values and display. Okay, that's all you are doing. Okay, so let's come to the point. Let's say if you are giving an input from a sensor, okay, or an input source inside an Arduino's pin. Okay, so before that, let's think about this. You know the digital output, right? So if you are taking an output from a particular pin to switch on an LED, what actually you are taking? You are taking a voltage, right? If it is high, it is 5 voltage. That means we say it is 1 or high. If it is low, it is 0 voltage. So we say it low or 0. Okay, so you basically take a voltage as an output, right? That is why the LED is switching on or switching off. Likewise, if you are giving an input, okay, you are basically giving a voltage. Okay, so remember, normally any sensor or any input source that is working under 0 to 5 voltage is being used with Arduino. So that guy can give a voltage difference that is between 0 to 5 voltage, okay, as an input, as an analog input, right? So again, take this digital output. This pin can give either 0 or 5. This cannot give an intermediate values. Yes or no? You can give 2 voltage? No, because it is digital, 5 or 0. But if it is analog, you can give intermediate values. Okay, so since we are talking about analog input, we can give any voltage that is between 0 to 5. 0 is the minimum, 5 is the maximum, because we are going to use maximum 0 to 5 voltage sensors or input sources. Okay, so when it comes to analog value, any voltage value between 0 to 5 can be going into the particular pin, and we can read the value. Okay, from that we can take some interruptions, interpretations. Okay guys, so I will follow this up in the next video, guys. Until then, have a great day ahead.